Hello, loves. Hello, hello. Hills here from the Blue Flame. How are we doing? As we emerge through that Aries, that very empowering Aries full moon, we are moving swiftly now. We're continuing to move swiftly through Libra season, and Mercury is now moving swiftly towards Mars in Scorpio. By the time we get to the Libra new moon on the 21st, Mercury and Mars will be exactly conjunct there in the sign of power and the occulted and transformation. Before we get there, however, we have a magnificent annual event that is opening, and it's doing so in quite spectacular fashion this year. What I am talking about, what we are talking about here, is the Arcturus Gateway event. Every year between the 15th of October and the 18th of October, the sun comes into conjunction with the stellar dimension of Arcturus. Arcturus, that way station, that stellar dimension that acts as portal, gateway itself to interdimensional weavings, to the Akashic records, to that realm where as souls we have our life review and our life planning sessions. The Arcturian energy has a very Libran energy, which is balanced. It is non-judgmental. It is simply what serves. So you're invited to feel into this sort of energy, this indiscriminate sort of energy, as we explore the Arcturus Gateway and how it is unveiling this year. We're going to begin a couple of days before the actual event begins. Like I said, it's from the 15th to the 18th, and that's playing with between 22 degrees of Libra for the sun and about 25 degrees of Libra for the sun. Arcturus sitting at 24 degrees of Libra. So anything that you have between 22 and 25, 22 and 26 degrees of Libra, or of any of the cardinal signs or any of the air signs, can help you in your explorations, give you an idea of how your system interprets this Arcturian energy. Now, as we're moving through this portal, we're coming into first Venus entering the sign of Libra on the 13th, 14th of October. Venus will transit through the 29 of Virgo and enter the sign of balance and of rulership for Venus, Libra. It will do so opposite the retrograde Neptune. Simultaneously, as Venus enters Virgo, Pluto at 1 degree of Aquarius is going to turn around. Now, feel this, if you will. Venus coming into the 0 degree of Libra, an air sign. Pluto turning around, stationing direct, starting to move forward once again at the 1 degree of Aquarius, an air sign. These two trining one another. Pluto helping us to reassess and move forward once again in that energy. All of the work of this retrograde that has been going on since about May is turning around and we're moving forward again. We're coming back across the ground once covered. Now, Pluto, of course, is the ruler of Scorpio and is very connected to medicine journeys, shamanic journeys, underworld journeys, revelations around power and occulted wisdoms, revealing that which was once hidden, allowing for great transformation in power dynamics. Now, as Venus comes into Libra, we are finding that balance point. And what did we say about Arcturus, the Arcturian energies, being indiscriminate? What do we mean by indiscriminate? Well, it is an energy of not judging the surface, but rather allowing space for the journey to unfold. Not looking at a situation in black or white, but understanding the gray areas. Knowing that in each moment, you may not have the whole story. So judging whether it's good or bad might be a little rash. Allowing that opening, allowing that presence, allowing all of the information to filter through your consciousness, to touch in with your heart. And this brings me to some of the other energies as Venus comes in to Libra, as Pluto turns around and that gateway opens. That gateway opens. Anubis, one of the guardians, one of the custodians, one of the guides of the Akashic records, will be at 22 degrees of Gemini, the other air sign. In fact, this 22 degrees of Gemini, where Anubis finds itself on the day that the sun transits through the 22 of Libra and begins to enter the Arcturus gateway, is also the same location where on Libra new moon, Anubis will be turning around and starting to move backwards too. So we have at the moment of the sun's entry into this gateway, one of the guardians, one of the guides to the Akashic records, transiting in trine over there in Gemini, the sign of communication, of expression, of rulership by Mercury, who can transit and translate from all of the dimensions. So our guide opening the door for us. And as the sun continues to move into that moment on the 17th of October of its exact conjunction with Arcturus, we find a beautiful cardinal T-square with Jupiter at 24 of Cancer and Chiron retrograde having moved through its conjunction with Eris now at exactly 24 of Aries, directly across from all of this action. Here we can feel that wound resurfacing. But what if? How can I speak this truly, speak this clearly, be this true to who I am, to myself, to my being, to my true nature? Won't X, Y, Z happen to me? And we find that indiscriminate, that empowered compassion energy of Arcturus, that place where you have the bird's eye view coming in and saying, be you, be you. It will all work out. And of course, who else could you be? Everyone else is taken, right? As this gateway opens and the exactness of it occurs on the 17th, we find some water energy coming in to help with our emotional flow through all this mental body, what have you, right? We allow all of these questions and all of these thoughts and all of these visions to filter through our heart space and to find through that a truer answer, which is, how do I feel in this moment? Not the little, how do I feel? Oh, that hurt my feelings, but really, truly deep heart. How do I feel in this moment? What does my heart say to me? And allowing that sita, that heart-mind interaction to aid us in our transformation. The first grand water trine that's occurring during this Arcturus gateway event is Lilith, that primordial feminine energy, at 27 of Scorpio, Saturn retrograde in Pisces at 26, and the Hathors at 27 of Cancer. This energy of the Hathors is very, very linked to the Arcturian dimension, in particular because as interdimensional energies, Arcturus is one of the stellar dimension portals where they are able to communicate with this dimension. And by this dimension, I mean the plethora of dimensions the Earth plane is currently existing in, and we as well. Our interdimensional beingness has a capacity to receive communication. Some people call this telepathy. Through into our physicality. Saturn retrograde in Pisces, we are receiving more flow. We are remembering our transcendental nature. You're remembering our transcendental nature. Lilith, uncovering our true creative potential, our true creative state of beingness. Feeling all of it in this grand water trine. The second grand water trine involves Mars and Mercury in Scorpio coming into their exactness as we come to the Libra new moon, working with the Pisces North Node at 17 degrees of Pisces and with Isis at 12 of Cancer. Again, we have these feminine energies playing with the emotional plane, helping us to really feel where those judgments might come from when they arise. Not to shut them out or shut them down, but to say, why was I feeling this? and releasing any incongruencies, understanding that all of those judgments are judgments within our being, and letting go of our self-recriminations. All of this is to say that this is a beautiful time for soul path journeying. This is a beautiful time to connect with your whole soul journey. All of the incarnations, earthly and otherwise, that your soul has experienced. And to allow yourself to be forgiven, to forgive, to understand where you were and what you were doing and how you reacted, and let yourself off the hook a bit. By which I can share that this is what we do when we have cutting cords meditations, right? We're unhooking ourselves from all these old stories. How, during this gateway, can you unhook yourself from all those old stories so that you can move forward into the new with a little less baggage? Thank you for all that you are and for all that you do, for all of your yeses and for your journey through the beyond and into the all dimensions. So much and many loves, as always.